where is it at? 86%. And it ain't gonna be too much further off in 4 minutes, so might as well go now. So let's see. Welcome back, Team DWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. Y'all already know what time it is and what time it should be. It's like almost 10 o'clock my time, so that means I can go ahead and get back in the zone. I'm put on. You can't stop me because I'm already gone. Hell, doing what I like. That's the only thing you should be worried about. If you like doing it, go ahead and do it. Anybody that don't like what you do, fuck them up against the wall. Shit, you know how we keep it. We got some content to review today. I ain't trying to hold y'all up all day because, you know, if you want to listen to music and kick it with your boy, you should be over here. So I ain't got nothing else to say about that. Hell, whether you the homie or the homegirl. I mean, if you ain't pulling up to chill, y'all must not know what's happening. So, hell, you can act brand new all you want. I'm going to be over here with brand new hunters like Lil Wayne said. You dig? Anyways, back to the videos because that's what we here to do. We here to watch some YouTube videos and get us some understanding on some high talk. We highly talking in this bitch. Clean in this bitch. Yeah. Anyways, here, I'm gonna show you. Got that. Hop in the song.
Hey, I'm Nick, creator of Cannabis and Growers Network, where we have educated millions of people on how to elevate their craft. I have toured some of the largest grow operations, befriended the best growers, and built a network of the top cannabis companies. Join me on this next adventure.
This is not the video we supposed to be watching. I'm glad I peeped that real quick, like, cause yeah. Shout out to the big homie made the boy this intro beat. Appreciate that. Let y'all know that the show's on the way, right?
The scientific phenomenon where an individual is way too darn high and starts fighting his inner, most ominous demons. What if this never wears off? What if my boss calls me right now? What if I'm actually adopted and my real parents are freaking vampires, man? With the latter thought being seemingly completely ridiculous, but when you're greening out, none of that stuff matters. Everything bad that can, has, or could happen morphs together into one massive, powerful ball of destruction and start knocking on your brain's CB1 receptors like, I know you're in there, bro. Your good old friend anxiety wants to have a very intense talk with you right now. And I haven't even gotten to the best part, which is that, well, there is no cure. All you can do is drink water, sit there, and try not to think about how this might never go away. This could be it, bro. The last push your brain needed to pop you into psychosis forever. You'll never be the same. Goodbye happiness, goodbye feelings. All there is this eternal slumber in limbo. Are you okay? No, I think I smoked away my soul. You just greened it out, dumbass. You were like this last week, too. You really can't handle your stuff, can you, man? Oh yeah. You might be right. Of course I'm right. I'm a G. You smoked that bowl? Yeah, I think it was laced. Man, you think everything is laced. Oh my. You shouldn't have done that, bro. What, this? Are you crazy? You did more than me. Are you okay? I mean, I feel better than before. Damn. That's kind of dark, but oddly comforting. Although there is no real cure to greening out, although CBD and
feel
weirdly
better
black
than
pepper can
before.
help. Anyway, what you really need is some reassurance that no, in fact, you did not smoke lace grass, and straight up, you're just being a bitch. The real issue comes when you start greening out alone, in your room with nothing but your thoughts, no one to comfort you, and no one to help you. Except me, a certified Zaza scientist who, with the power of scientific research and personal experimentation, will guide you through the reality of greening out by sharing personal stories and presenting you the facts. And I think the best way to do this is to go over every level/type of greening out, from minor anxiety to loss of self and total disassociation. But we'll get to my nightmarish I'm never smoking again experience soon. First, we gotta start out with the type of green out almost everyone who has blazed once or twice has gone through, which is the overstimulation green out. The most commonly occurring green out, especially in inexperienced and new users of the magic plant. If you've never had this, you've probably never been really faded. This is when you feel the THC activate your sympathetic nervous system, aka fight or flight mode, especially in new or anxious users. It's like your body thinks it's in danger when it's not. The symptoms include anxiety and an elevated heartbeat, but on top of that, depending on the person, they could also start sweating. Basically, I describe this green out as you feeling wired and energetic, so your thoughts are going at 100 miles per hour, but at the same time, you're scared and anxious, so everything you think about can rabbit hole into something unpleasant. On top of the usual symptoms I brought out, most people also have their own individual debuff as well. For me, that's the feeling of being extremely cold, even though I know I'm not actually freezing. My first experience of this particular green out was all the way back in high school when the grass was still mysterious and kind of scary. I had just transferred schools a few months back and I got a couple of new friends when eventually the topic of the za came up and how they wanted to try it, which, well, I agreed to talk to my plug back home and see what I can do. Which, well, we all know how unreliable plugs can be, and to be honest, unless you're friends with them, it's usually not a pleasant experience. Unlike today's sponsor, 5CBD Quick Hit 15mg gummies, who not only get you where you're trying to go in 10 minutes compared to the usual 30, but also deliver fast nationwide, so no need to even leave your home. On top of that, 5CBD is also running an insane $5,000 giveaway to everyone who enters before July 31st, with the winner getting to choose their preferred prize. Personally, I definitely go with the gamer's dream, which includes stuff like a PS5, a 65-inch TV, a mini fridge, a $1,000 Visa gift card, and much more. And the best part is, by using my code CBDBRO at checkout, you can get a whopping 35% off your order while still getting those 10 entries, giving you a solid chance of winning the $5,000 giveaway. Although there are multiple other ways to get additional entries for free as well. Not only are you getting some fire and fast-acting gummies, you're also giving yourself a chance to strike big, bruh. To be eligible, all you have to do is be at least 21, live in the US, and go to the pink comment to check it out. A few weeks went by and I was able to secure one singular holy grail of some fine exotic oregano pack. I then informed my buddies of my acquirement of the grass, which then at school we conjured up a devious plan to get absolutely zoinked in my dorm room. Problem was, I kind of maybe over-exaggerated my proficiency in smoking and rolling that wood. Yeah, I had no idea how to roll a J. So I got one of my actual experienced friends to come along with us for the ride. After school, the four of us, me, my two inexperienced homies, and the one experienced homie, all gathered in my compact dorm room. As the professional was rolling up, I was starting to feel a bit anxious, cause the reality was, although I had smoked up before, it had always been at an ultra-secure compound, my grandma's house on Christmas, or back home with my brother when our parents weren't home. Now it was me, two friends who I had no idea how they were going to react, and only one experienced dude who I could count on to not geek the fuck out, but still, we weren't exactly best friends. Another issue was that we were not at all alone in that dormitory. We were on the second floor, and on the first floor there lived the overseer, basically an old lady who worked there. And I was low-key starting to question the legitimacy and normality of pulling up with three homies, then 15 minutes later going out with the same friends all excited, and then coming back inside, walking past the overseer with all four of us looking bedonked out of our goddamn minds. Whatever, that's a future problem, man. Yo. Jay is ready. We smoke a doka lokin this or what? So we went downstairs, moved past the overseer to the exit, and walked to a nearby clump of pine trees to conceal our blazing of the ganja. As we stood there, puffing on that grass, I saw the experienced friend turn into a blabbering buffoon. Not in like a bad way. Well, it was bad in the moment. Problem was, with each puff of that oregano, I got more and more paranoid and scared of being caught and deported back home. So, although now looking back at it, he was just vibing off the za like you should, my OCD ass was just fixated on the fact that he was being too loud or talking about the grass in an incriminating way. I know I was the actual mood killer that night. Good news was, the two buddies who had never blazed before didn't even get high. Probably didn't inhale it in their lungs, so for me that was one less problem to deal with. But after finishing the J, I stared at the homie who did feel it and... Bruh, you look fried like a McDonald's nugget. Shit, wasn't that the point? Yeah, I guess so. Just what? I'm kind of worried of going back to the door. What the fuck? Are you okay? I'm tweaking, man. My
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that type of person that when they get high, they get all paranoid and shit like that. Hell nah, that would not work. Cause this dude's retarded when he get high. Look at him. Look, they looking at him right here like, yeah, this is why we don't want to get high. They don't even know they high, but they definitely don't want to be that kind of high. Like this guy's tripping.
first ever green out experience had begun. I could not get the bad thoughts out of my mind, and I was super anxious and paranoid, and I guess my body reacts to that by turning the AC up to a max. We ended up walking around town instead. Eventually, another buddy picked us up with a car, and in the car, I obviously cranked the AC up to maximum warmth. After about 30 minutes, my first green out was over, and I got to enjoy the high, not at my dorm, but at a nearby party we were dropped off at. What I learned from it was that the za is best enjoyed with people you're comfortable with and in controlled situations. Well, I mean, now I don't care. I'll be smoking woods during hurricanes and shit, but it took me a while to get comfortable with the feeling of being high in non-secure locations. But that was the most common and honestly least scary green out. And although the cold thing is a personal symptom and most people don't have that, everything else was extremely common, like anxiety, panic, and overall just mental overload. Now let's look at the two other types of green outs I've experienced, with the last one being way more terrifying. But first, balance system overload. I've only ever had this once, but I know it's actually pretty common. It's when you smoke a bunch of za and start feeling dizzy, vertigo, and nausea. For me, it was when I mixed alcohol with the grass, which looking back at it, I mean, duh. I was at a party, pretty drunk, when a rotation was put into place. Obviously being CBD bro and the prospect of free being as alluring as it is, I not only joined it, I led it. Basically, I smoked more than everybody else. After going back inside and sitting down, I felt the room started spinning. I felt I had zero balance, and on top of that, I wanted to vomit, but I never did. Just constantly felt like something was coming up. But yeah, I just drank a bunch of water and sat on the couch like a spaceship. It faded in about 30 minutes, so not too bad. But this final green out is something I've only fully experienced once, and ever since then, I've been low-key scared to get uber high, and that is dissociative green out. This one is straight up terrifying, but like in a much different way than the first, more common type of green out. Scientifically speaking, high doses of THC can temporarily disrupt the integration of sensory and cognitive inputs. It hits similar circuits as mild psychedelics, especially in sensitive brains, aka detachment from reality, identity confusion, feeling like the world isn't real, aka derealization, and the inability to recognize one's own thoughts or voice. In my case, it felt like me, the person, was separated from my brain and body. Everything I said out loud, I did not think about before. It felt as if I was not in control of what I was saying, like my body was on autopilot and I was just observing what was going on through my eyes. I felt like my conscious was separated from my subconscious. It was like there was two of me inside my one body. After saying something out loud, I thought, of course you would say that, that's totally you. Which was freaking terrifying because I am me. Why am I critiquing myself in third person like I was not in control? But beyond that, I just felt numb. empty, like there was no point to existence, which also means I didn't feel anxious or even scared. It was just like this one singular, heavy feeling of pure emptiness. I started scrolling shorts to try and feel something, anything, but to no avail. I wasn't laughing, I wasn't getting scared, all the content felt the same, just a screen with pixels. The only thing I could not stop thinking about was, is this going to last forever? Thankfully though, eventually, after about 20 or 30 minutes, I started feeling again. The first sign of this was when I came across this funny cat video and I chuckled. Which seems like such a mundane event, but I remember being so happy that I chuckled because I felt it. I felt what I saw was funny and my body reacted. After the first moment of recovery, it took another 10 or so minutes for what felt like my two personalities, or subconscious and conscious, to merge together again and create a singular me. One that liked playing video games, watching YouTube videos, etc. Overall, this was by far the most effed up green out I've ever had. Feeling anxious or panicking, although uncomfortable, is average human behavior, but this, the sense of emptiness, is something that you just don't ever feel normally. After that particular green out, I've honestly been low-key scared to get uber messed up, because the feeling is something I still remember, and whenever I feel myself get super faded, I think about it. But yeah, beyond being potentially scarred for life, greening out is just a part of the Zaza experience, and I'd love to hear about some of your stories with any of the types of green outs I talked about, or maybe you even have your own type that I didn't even mention. Let me know in the comments, and until next time, peace!
You don't really want to play with me, ignite the gas and explode any hopes that contain in me. You better watch how you came at me. Whatever you do affects you, you're chained to me. Whenever you take aim at me, you take aim at you. The same thing as me. Bang, bang, when it bursts in your brain of view. What have you done what a Kurt Cobain would do? Trying to skip a link in a chain of food. Boy, I'm Mr. Pink to these grays and blues. I get a change of mood when I sip the drink. Disperse the curse in a cryptic ink. Let's be honest, I'm half bad, yes. If you really wanted, you could have that mess. Let it roll like the good times. If you stay on my good side, you'll be hashtag blessed. Everybody want to win. Truth is, some have to lose. There's one path to choose. Everything goes around, comes around, and what you do comes back to you. You know, that's how the truth go. They pretend they could bend me like Zuko. Then they try to get around me like loopholes. But cross me, you burn up fast. In a word, if you play, you burn your karma. Gonna give them what they deserve. Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5, presented by Dutchie. As usual, I'm your host, Shad Dales, and wow, what momentum is building here in the cannabis space over these last couple of days. Back on Sunday, September the 28th, in case you were living under a rock, President Donald Trump posted a video on his Truth Social account that could mark a notable moment in U.S. cannabis policy. So why am I saying that? Well, he endorsed the benefits of cannabinoids, specifically CBD and the body's endocannabinoid system. This is big. So for months, the cannabis industry has been watching for signals out of Washington on rescheduling. And now, with this video, there's new questions about how cannabis reform could develop and whether this might influence the pace of decision making. So lots on the go right now, and all eyes again centered on President Trump around cannabis reform. So let's get into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5, presented by Dutchie. All right, let's begin. What was announced in this Truth Social video? President Trump goes into detail about the body's endocannabinoid system. The video explains how the system declines with age and how CBD could help restore balance. It specifically links CBD to reducing pain, improving sleep, lowering stress, supporting overall health as people get older. And then when you add in the policy angle, Trump calls for Medicare to cover CBD for seniors. So that's not just a health comment, that's a policy proposal from the sitting president of the United States. That's huge. The video also highlights the 2018 Farm Bill, the law that legalized hemp nationwide, and it makes a point of tying hemp and CBD back to this legal framework. And finally, what's even more encouraging is the economic claim. In the video, Fox News anchor Brett Baer is shown saying that integrating cannabis into healthcare could save $64 billion a year. And at the 2:15 mark, the word cannabis is clearly mentioned, addressing online chatter. This wasn't only about hemp, but both hemp and cannabis definitely are part of this message. So now let's pause on that point, because it's been a big topic of debate online. Some people noticed that hemp was mentioned several times, and they asked, is this really about cannabis or just about hemp and CBD? So that's an important distinction because hemp, of course, is already federally legal under the Farm Bill, where cannabis remains a Schedule 1 drug, and that's the question at the center of this rescheduling debate. But when you go back to that clip of Brett Baer in Trump's video, cannabis is clearly mentioned. So while hemp and CBD were highlighted, cannabis is also part of the conversation. So really the blending of the terms, it could be deliberate. If you connect hemp and cannabis under one umbrella, then Trump may be framing cannabis policy as a continuation of existing law rather than dramatic change. So now let's talk about the credibility of where this video came from, because that's just as important as what we just said. The video was produced and promoted with the backing of the Commonwealth Project. So who are they? The Commonwealth Project is an advocacy group with ties to both federal and state cannabis reform efforts. They've already made their position clear in regulatory filings. In their, quote, notice of appearance for the DEA's rescheduling hearing, they stated they support moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So if you look into detail, here's what they wrote. The Commonwealth Project strongly supports the Department of Health and Human Services recommendation to reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, and the Department of Justice's and DEA's NPRM that proposes doing so. When you look even further, the people behind the Commonwealth Project, they're well connected and experienced in Washington policy circles. When they promote a video like this, and when Trump shares it, it suggests coordination and intent. You got to look at this from a big picture point of view. So what does this then mean? Until now, cannabis rescheduling has been handled mostly behind closed doors between the HHS, DOJ, and DEA. That industry has been left waiting on filings, comment periods, and agency timelines. But with Trump's video, it's the first time we've seen the president himself publicly connect his name to cannabis and cannabinoids in such a different way. This is why it's so big. So that matters for two specific reasons. One, momentum. Rescheduling is already in process, and Trump's statement places the issue more firmly in the public eye. And then there's two, which is framing. By linking cannabis to hemp, seniors, and healthcare costs, Trump is presenting this as a mainstream policy issue rather than a fringe debate. It's actually quite clever. So really the natural question from a lot of you becomes, does this change the timeline in any way? The fact that this video came out directly from the president's account on September 28th, it only adds weight to the discussion. And really this may give regulatory agencies more room to move, or at least signal that the White House is indeed supportive. That said, nothing's guaranteed. The DEA still controls the process, and its final decision has not been made public. But what Trump's statement does is raise the question of whether rescheduling could pick up pace. And that's what people across the industry are now watching closely. We want to see an announcement now. The plot thickens here, everyone. So now the big question is, what should the cannabis industry, investors, and consumers be watching for next? Well, number one is the direct DEA action. Many observers believe the administrative law judge process may not significantly shape the outcome. The question here is whether the DOJ chooses to move directly to a final ruling, which many people do believe. Number two is White House messaging. Trump's Truth Social post may not be the last word. Additional statements or supportive comments from the administration could clarify how serious this push really is. And then number three are market moves. They're already underway. Cannabis stocks have already reacted to Trump's post. The question now is whether this momentum builds into sustained long-term momentum. But one thing's for sure, it is moving right now. So really, to sum everything up, back on Sunday, September 28th, President Trump posted a Truth Social video that directly endorsed cannabinoids, CBD, and the endocannabinoid system. Big. He tied it to Medicare, seniors, hemp, and yes, cannabis. And the backing of the Commonwealth Project gives this message some added weight, and I mean some big weight. And for the cannabis industry, the video raises new questions about how rescheduling could unfold and what signals to watch for next. And believe me, we're all watching very closely right now. Wow, what a moment it was for the sitting president of the United States talk about the benefits of cannabinoids and really mention hemp and cannabis. We are in different times. Keep looking at the big picture, everyone. Hopefully we get an announcement sooner sooner rather than later. So keep close, keep connected, and leave your comments below and let us know what you thought of the video and what this means for the cannabis industry. Love to get your feedback. As usual, if you like this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash on that bell for all notifications, and stay connected with us here at the TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. That's it for now, so make sure you stay close, everybody. Let's hope we get some announcement relatively soon. I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm your host, Shad Dales. This has been the latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. Thanks for watching.
Everybody in New York was calling to get down with Mr. Nice Guy. We met all kinds of customers, like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because he thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Mi casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right?
Yeah.
I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Son of a Woman?
Yup.
You ever seen Son of a Woman on weed? That's the way to say it, man. It's just whack.
$60, yo.
Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
On
No, I don't know,
weed.
yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill on weed? Oh, there's some weird shit in there, man. There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, it's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
What's up? Welcome to Trap Brothers Institute. First question I'm gonna ask you: how many of your relatives was already trapping? What your father do? Your uncle? What about the women in your family? Okay, so they was fucking with hustling niggas, and you had some hustling niggas in your family. All right, cool. All right, now the second part I want to ask you: how long you been trapping? You never tried? Not at all. Okay. You seen your mans and them do it. And how long did this go on? Let me ask you this. We're gonna do a couple exercises. Right now, where we stand, you just made a play. A nigga give you the money. What you do with it? In your pocket? The fuck, nigga, stash spot. Okay, you never keep it in your pocket. Fuck is wrong with you, dog? Think about it. Because once you lose that, then what? How much you keep in the stash? Dog, why the fuck is you telling me how much you got in the stash? Come on, some niggas don't be thinking. So right now you fucking up, man. I'm hoping you redeem yourself. What did you ever play sports? You did. Lucky you. What did you run on a 40? 4.5, 4.6? You gonna need that. That might be your bread and butter. Rely on that motherfucker. In fact, you might want to start keeping shit in your pocket if you running that 4.5. Yeah, ain't a cop in the district that's gonna catch you, nigga. You a bad motherfucker. You know how to cook up? No? Did you ever try anything? Any type of weed, coke? You ain't never tried nothing? You got minimal experience, my nigga. What does taking a drug, consuming it, have to do with selling it? But some of that comes in handy. I'm gonna teach you a little bit about that. Come on back here. This is usually the back way. We'll send our representative out front down there. You will post up right down there. Perform your hand-to-hand duties down there. If anybody comes, anybody disrupts your activities, you come on back here. You fly from Mr. 4.5. Right back there, under that tree. That's another obstacle course we put down. Knock that motherfucker down myself. Look at it. Look at the work. Part-time lumberjack. Part-time trapper. That's going to take you, pop you back out. You know the kitchen I showed you? Back around the kitchen. Don't go into the kitchen. You're going to lead them right to the shit, to the factory. Spin all the way back around, so you end up right back where you started, right back on the corner, get right back to traffic. If police tend to pursue, you'll probably take a 15-minute break. That's all you want to need. Right after that, you should probably get back in the field. So far, does this job description, does it seem like something that you fuck with? We'll probably just set you up with a couple 8-balls. I'll get you shipping those out immediately. I will get you Smith & Wesson, and we'll get you set up shop, get you a couple bags and whatnot, and then I'll also give you a scale on behalf of the company. So once we get you plugged in with that, we'll see how you start on, what do you say, are you free on the 5th? You free on the 5th? Yeah, we're going to get you started at the 5th, 11 a.m. sharp. How that sound? My dog, put it there. Put it there. Yeah. Formal shit on the way in, casual shit on the way out. I'm gonna catch you, my nigga.
Casual shit on the way out. This Zaza Demon Pack, boy, hey, what'd he say?
Well, at the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you stop playing with the radio knobs like they're nipples?
Shut up, Clark. You don't know anything about nipples.
What?
Come to Earth acting like you know about nipples. You don't know a damn thing about nipples. I know everything about nipples. That's why I chose bats. I have several nipples. I used to have nipples on my suit.
How are we friends?
Whoa, hold on. Don't be using that kind of language around me. I've never said I was anybody's F.
Well, you don't have a choice, Batman. We're super friends.
F that, Superman.
That's right. F that.
Capital F that.
You take that capital F and
Put it in
right
front
in
of
front of
friends.
You don't do that with my capital F. My capital F does not stand for friendship.
F is the friendliest letter in the alphabet, so it can stand for whatever we like.
Well, mine stands for fucking. Wait a second.
Prohibition laws continue to be evaluated and lifted in several states. While this is happening, marijuana is legalized in several cities, including Amnesty Bay, Gotham City, Metropolis, Keystone, Ivytown, Hub City, Happy Harbor.
Did he just say weed is legal?
Yes, the F he did.
Clark, is that stash we stole from Scarecrow still in the basement?
There it is. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
It's so loud, you can see the smell through the pack.
And now that it's legal, we can fight on the side of justice and also be high as fuck.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Clark. This was gonna get smoked whether or not it was legalized.
You're damn right about that.
Then bust that shit open.
I really hope you're talking about the weed, Batman.
Dares release the Zaza Demon, the stickiest of the icky. No one wants to smoke. Your little lungs are too small to hot box. No one.
That's right, Clark. Hold that shit.
Hold that shit.
That shit.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Damn, I didn't even know you could cough. That shit must be some fucking gas.
I am not made for that type of consumption.
Oh shit. You don't put him to fucking sleep.
That is not sleep.
That is a
That is
coma.
coma.
Oh nah, bro, I gotta smoke on that. Hold on, let me find these rolling papers. I gotta have them in my utility belt or something. Like,
Rolling papers?
I must have left them in my cave. Hey, ride me to the corner store real quick. I'm gonna go
You
get some.
couldn't handle my second-hand smoke.
Hey, Smoke Ghost nigga. I don't know if you know about me, but I'm fucking Batman, bro. I've been out here doing this. I'm vengeance in the night, and I've been smoking right. So don't even try me with that bullshit. You gonna have to go well on.
He said,
Your
Yes.
ass. No one can survive the Zaza Demon.
I know that Scarecrow pet down here somewhere. I can smell. What the fuck? Y'all not even smoking without me? Look at your bitch ass asleep. Can't have no real smoke. Y'all motherfuckers ain't. What the fuck is y'all? What is that? I said that.
God damn.
What the fuck? I stepped out for 1 minute and now it's 3 of them. All of you bitches are not even an indica strain.
He said that's a sativa. It's supposed to do you right, not have you on the couch. Knock the fuck out though.
Another U.S. government shutdown is here. Now, we've all seen the headlines, but here's the thing that nobody's talking about. How a shutdown impacts the cannabis community. From big multi-state operators to medical patients, everyday consumers, and even home gardeners. The ripple effects are real. And today, we're breaking it all down. The hidden ways that a government shutdown shakes up the industry and why it may matter more than you think. And at the end, I'll show you what both sides are saying and, of course, give you the bottom line.
And breaking tonight, the clock says just after midnight, the shutdown has begun. Democrats refusing to back a Republican plan to fund the government before the midnight deadline. Leaders on the right say it is all political theater.
Breaking news this hour, senators were just voting on a second stopgap bill to fund the government. This is the Republicans' proposed funding bill. It's expected to fail. Last hour, the Democrats' proposed funding bill failed in the chamber. Barring some kind of miracle, in less than 5 hours, the government will shut down.
Now, despite it not being a frequent occurrence, there have been a number of government government shutdowns in the past, 14 to be exact.
Have only been 14 since 1981, most of which were relatively short. Before 1981, there would be periods where the government would briefly run out of funds during an appropriations impasse, but government functions would work mostly as usual on the expectation that money would be provided later. It was in 1980 and 1981 when then Attorney General Benjamin Civiletti argued government agencies didn't have legal authority to continue running without congressionally provided funds. Most of these shutdowns have been fairly short. There were 8 during the Reagan years, all of which were 1 to 3 days. The long shutdown became a political reality in 1995 during a 21-day standoff between Democratic President Bill Clinton and congressional Republicans. 2013 saw a 16-day shutdown with closed national parks. The longest to date, though, currently, it started a few days before Christmas in 2018 and lasted 34 days. That shutdown cost the economy about $3 billion, according to the Congressional Budget Office. 800,000 employees, or 37% of the federal workforce, were either furloughed or worked without pay.
Even though the good herb itself is not federally recognized, the systems that support the industry, banking, research, enforcement, and even healthcare are all tied to Washington. And when Washington shuts down, so do many of those gears. When it comes to licensing and research, if you're a scientist waiting on DEA approval for
What up, Bronze? Good to see you. How you doing?
Too bad. Those applications sit on a desk. When it comes to FDA reviews for CBD and THC-based medicines, those are also frozen. And here's a big one. The ongoing federal review to reschedule the good herb from Schedule 1 to 3, a shutdown could throw that timeline completely off. And that means delayed progress on the legalization momentum. And then, of course, there's banking, something which cannabis companies already struggle with. When it comes to banking, cannabis companies already struggle to get financial services because of federal restrictions. During a shutdown, agencies like FinCEN, who issue compliance guidelines, go dark. That makes banks even more skittish. Some banks may freeze accounts, stop accepting new cannabis clients, or pile on extra reporting requirements. And what does that mean for dispensaries? Well, more cash-heavy operations, which leaves you at risk for robberies and also higher insurance costs. Now, when it comes to growth and investment in the industry, investors hate uncertainty. If the government shuts down, cannabis stocks usually take a hit. Multi-state operators might pause mergers or expansion plans. Even IRS processes get delayed, meaning that tax refunds, audits, and credits tied to cannabis businesses literally get stuck in limbo. So when Washington stalls, the industry loses momentum, and in this industry, time is money. Now, let's talk about medical patients, because this is where shutdowns get personal for lots of folks. Veterans are a prime example. Many rely on VA doctors for guidance, and while the VA doesn't prescribe the good herb, the doctors often play a role in medical decisions. If the VA operations are slow, then veterans may get caught in the mess. Patients in states that rely on federal verification systems could face delays getting or renewing their medical cannabis cards. Testing labs, which sometimes use federally regulated equipment, may also slow down. And if testing is delayed, dispos cannot legally sell certain batches of product, and that means empty shelves. Now imagine being a cancer patient or someone with chronic pain, and you walk into your dispo only to be told that your medicine is not available because the testing lab hasn't cleared it yet. That's the hidden cost of political gridlock. Now, it's not just about veterans and medical patients, because regular consumers will feel it too, though in different ways. When it comes to pricing pressures, shutdowns literally shake up the economy. People tighten their wallets, that means smaller dispensary purchases, and more consumers are shifting to cheaper black market herb. On top of that, if supply chains get disrupted, dispos may raise their prices just to keep products on the shelves. And then there's always the legal uncertainty. That's another wrinkle. Enforcement guidance is a big factor here. In the past, DOJ memos like the Cole memo shaped how federal prosecutors handle the good herb. During shutdowns, those communications can stall, and that creates uncertainty for states and operators who are wondering, are the feds going to look the other way, or are they going to crack down? Now, all of this can cause confidence in the legal market to shudder. When people see shutdowns, they realize how fragile the legal market still is, and it's a reminder that without firm federal legalization, the entire system rests on shifting sand. Now let's flip it to the home growers, because here's the good news. You're probably the least affected group. If you live in a state that allows home growing, a federal shutdown does not change your legal right to plant seeds, water them, or harvest your own medicine, but there are indirect effects. Ordering nutrients, lights, tents, or seeds online, shipping delays could happen if postal and customs services slow down. And if inflation rises during a shutdown, grow supplies may get more expensive. Ironically though, home growers may end up the most stable group because growing your own keeps you insulated from dispensary chaos and rising prices. So what happens if the shutdown is short versus long? If it's short term, 1 to 2 weeks, that's mostly an inconvenience. Research delays, nervous investors, and slower shipping. But if it's longer term, a number of months, that's where it gets dangerous. Research pipeline freezes, cannabis rescheduling gets shelved, stock prices tank, patients lose access, and billions of dollars in the industry growth will vanish. For the industry, shutdowns mean stalled progress. For patients, it can mean real suffering. For consumers, higher prices and legal uncertainty. For home growers, you're safer but not immune. And all of this comes down to one thing. Cannabis lives in a weird limbo. Legal in some states, illegal federally, and it's always one budget away from complete chaos. Now all that said, both sides are blaming each other when it comes to this government shutdown.
This is a temper tantrum of Chuck Schumer and the Democrats saying, we hate Donald Trump.
Republicans have failed to get enough votes to avoid a shutdown.
So clearly we got two sides arguing like kids in a playground and no one can come to an agreement.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most. A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos.
Families will be hurt. Farmers will be hurt.
It's the service members who will work without a paycheck. It's the firefighters who will be furloughed. This shutdown, you know who's going to feel the pain? You know who it hurts? You. Everyday people. And the most vulnerable. Seniors, veterans, working families, hungry kids, y'all.
Democrats are signaling they're ready for a fight. This time, Schumer tells the Associated Press, quote, things have changed.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
Just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or cop some merch from our merch store. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the ICANN Organics. Use the code LEGAL, it works on the bundle and the beans. Now, there are lots of details and hidden things tucked away in the fine print of this whole matter.
See if the motherfucker eyes
really
open.
To dig into the details to figure out what's really going on. One undeniable fact is that healthcare is playing a massive part in this entire thing. Specifically, whether billions of dollars is being used to fund healthcare for illegal immigrants. Now, certain lawmakers on one side of the aisle are saying that that's not happening, but it turns out that that's not necessarily the case.
Waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars. A key focus has been Medicaid, with GOP lawmakers introducing legislation that prohibits healthcare funding and benefits to illegal aliens. They argue it served as a magnet for crossing the border illegally without seeking asylum. Joining us this morning to discuss the latest headlines on the Hill is Washington insider Armstrong Williams. Good to see you, sir, as always. How much funding has gone to cover medical expenses specifically for illegal aliens?
$27 billion. 3 meals a day, unlimited health care, unlimited visits.
Now, this is taxpayer dollars, and considering how expensive healthcare is in America, I can see why a lot of people may not necessarily want their taxpayer dollars to go to people who are not there legally. Now, all that said, we know that politicians lie, and even if they say that some of these folks are not getting benefits on Medicaid, we know that that may not be the case. Just like they say some of these folks are not able to vote, but turns out they end up voting anyway.
Right, but one of the other problems, too, is that under federal funds, illegal aliens are allowed to get emergency Medicaid, which is short-term funding. So in Gavin Newsom's case, even though he dug his state into bankruptcy because of giving free healthcare to illegal aliens, even if he freezes his funding and kicks all of the illegal aliens off, they are still eligible for federal Medicaid. So that's why we need Congress to seriously overhaul it, hopefully with this bill.
The city of San Francisco has begun to register illegal immigrants to vote in the 2018 elections. Illegal immigrants, people whose first action in our country was breaking our laws. But yeah, let's give them the right to vote. Funny how liberals have spent the past week screaming about foreign meddling in our elections when it comes to the Russians, but they don't seem to have a problem with foreign meddling in our elections if it means registering illegal immigrants to vote. These illegal immigrants will be allowed to vote in the school board elections, Liberals assure us illegals won't be allowed to vote in statewide races or in federal elections because that is against
Good to
federal
see.
law.
How you doing?
Now,
Hope
as
it's a
always,
good
I'll
day
show you
for you.
guys what both sides are saying so
Another
you guys
Saturday
can
in
make an
paradise for
educated
me.
decision and come to the bottom line. Now, this next clip shows why you cannot trust politicians because they say some of these individuals cannot vote, they're not voting, but this actually proves otherwise. Check it out.
There are mounting questions about how an illegal immigrant who has faced criminal charges and deportation orders was able to serve as a Baltimore City principal and most recently as the head of Iowa's largest school district. ICE agents arrested Ian Roberts of Guyana on Friday after they say that he took off in his car, dumped it, and then ran into a wooded area. ICE says he was found with a loaded weapon and $3,000 in cash. Roberts also had a long criminal past in the United States. In 1999, he overstayed his student visa. A year later, Roberts was charged with weapons possession, and in 2024, an immigration judge issued a final order of removal. Well, now questions are mounting about how he was able to work for years without authorization.
And back in Maryland, Roberts' ties to Baltimore City schools are under review, but concerns are now shifting beyond the classroom as state records suggest the non-citizen may have been registered to vote. Tonight, Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor pressing election officials and school leaders for some answers. Rebecca.
Yeah, Mary, in Maryland, you can look up anyone's voter registration information online. And tonight we're learning Ian Roberts appears to be listed despite his immigration status.
A high-profile ICE arrest in Iowa, now raising questions here in Maryland.
Tons of people on here. We have no idea.
Following a state audit in 2023, finding over 2,400 potentially deceased voters and more than 300 duplicate registrations on Maryland's voting rolls. In 2025, the DOJ requesting the state's voter registration data. Instead, Maryland's state administrator of elections writing back, demanding to first know, quote, whether the voter registration list would be used for enforcement of immigration laws against Maryland residents.
So you guys can see why it's so difficult to trust politicians and listen to what they say and also to believe mainstream media. And I've been getting a lot of flack for calling out the left lately, but what we do on this channel is show you guys what both sides are saying so that you guys can make an educated decision for yourself. So all that said, let me know what you guys think about the government shutdown. Do you think it's more political theater? Do you think it'll impact the canna industry? And how long do you think it'll last? Drop it in the comments down below. Now you guys may have missed this, but the good herb has been blacklisted and social media is censoring content related to the herb. So if you haven't seen it, check that video.
I don't know, Jazz. I just feel bad for Carl, man. Like, what does he know about living in the hood? I just spent half the ride over here trying to convince him not to say dynamite. I just feel like I'm tossing him to the Lions or something. You know what I mean? The Detroit Lions still got those cheerleaders? Open this door, man.
Yes, that's right. You can buy property for no money down.
Yo, what's up? Carlton, what the hell are you wearing? Yo, this? Carl, you look like a pirate. Yo, stop front. You know this gear is chill. Why are you talking like that? Yo, how you playing me, Prince? What? Are you dissing me? Come on, man. Stop it. Hey, Prince. Lay off of him, man. We like C-Note. C-Note?
Yeah, he was like this, but he's coming around. Yeah, he's helping us with our business.
Hey, C-Note, how do I figure my net worth?
Well, how many times I gotta tell you? Write your questions down, I'll hook you up later.
I'm sorry. That was rude of me, man.
Are we cool?
Hey, lovely. Jazz, tell me that this isn't happening. I don't know, Prince, man. I'm starting to like him, too. Hey,
yo, see, I want to thank you for that tip. I'm gonna go out and get me some of them douche marks.
That's Deutsch marks.
Yo, check it out. See, I'm leaving, right? I'm gonna get back with you later so you can help me open that Schwab account.
Are you still coming to MacArthur Park tomorrow night?
Yo, I'm with it.
Hey. Whoa.
You're going to MacArthur Park at night?
Yeah, a squad's gonna sell some Gucci bags. It's a sales bonanza.
Sorry, there's no hip-hop word for sales bonanza. See, I don't go to MacArthur Park.
What's up, Will? Not man enough to swing with the brothers?
You have no idea what MacArthur Park is like. It's dangerous, man.
Oh, Will, if there's any danger, I'll call the park rangers.
It's not that kind of park, boo-boo. People get killed there. Look, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. Look, I'm tired of you always talking down to me, Will. I'm gonna win our bet, and you'll never be able to make fun of me again.
Hey, look, you know what? The bet is off, Carl. It's off. Come on, let's go home.
Hey, leave Cino alone, man. He ain't leaving till he does my taxes.
Yo, I'm gonna sleep on the floor.
I'm asleep on the floor. Somebody throw their blood mattress.
These are the pawns. They like the soldiers. They move like this. One space forward only.
All right, but if I make it to the end, I'm top dog.
The Wire is a fascinating examination of how a city plagued by drugs and crime can perpetuate the same destructive cycle again and again, despite how many of the participants view themselves as an exception to the rule. The promises of the game initially seem pretty clear. By following orders, attacking opposition, stacking cash, and building a reputation, you can pull yourself and your family out of poverty and have a much-needed shot at the American dream. That's what your mentors have taught you, and that's what got them where they are now.
And without the game, this whole family would be down in the f***ing terrace living off scraps.
These are the lessons in how to survive and thrive, handed down from one generation to the next. But one of the key themes of the game is its high-risk nature, and something all new gamblers eventually learn is that the house always wins. But what are the chances you can simply choose not to play? And if you do play, what are the odds you actually end up winning? Let's examine the life cycle of the game, as shown in The Wire, to find out.
Nah?
Nah.
You don't choose where you're born. You don't choose the circumstances you're born into. You don't choose your parents or their attitudes about the world or the messages they impart. As you get older, you develop more agency. You're exposed to more ideas and options, therefore you can make more informed decisions. But as a child, you're at the mercy of your influences. What you're taught first is all you know, until you discover something else. And for the children in West Baltimore, the world they inhabit is a world where you need to learn lessons fast in order to survive. Any day of the week, you might wake up to the sight of a dead body outside your window. That will teach you pretty quick that you shouldn't talk to the police. Everyone older than you is either selling drugs, addicted to drugs, in prison, or dead. The only people that possibly could put a stop to all of this are the government, but they don't really have any solutions to offer except cracking down on crime, which means more police. And cops are viewed by everyone you know as the enemy, as they're a threat to this way of life. And this way of life is the only way you know to possibly get out of poverty. And if they're not tricking you into snitching, which you know could put you in danger, they're not always following the rules either. They rough up your friends and the corner boys, and some of them even steal
the police
your
ain't
cash
even
from
following the
themselves
rules.
and physically harm you.
What?
If these were your first experiences with a cop, then it's a natural instinct to feel adversarial to them. They claim they're trying to make things better, while making things worse, and they arrest you for breaking the rules, while they hypocritically seem happy to break them themselves. The people you do look up to are the same people your friends look up to, the kingpin of the city, or the rogue thief who seems to outsmart everyone else. Why? Because they're the winners, and if you're not aiming for the top, then you're more than likely going to end up at the bottom. And even though you're scared and just want to feel safe, you see what happens to the weakest people in the neighborhood. So the only logical choice is to act tough in the hopes you'll become tough. You stick close to your friends and stay loyal to them, even if it's just through petty rivalries with other local gangs, because this is what will toughen you up and prepare you for the bigger battles to come, when balloons are inevitably replaced with bullets. Sure, it would be nice to have some future plans of your own, but ever since you were born, it was seen as your fate to become a corner boy, just like your father, who, yes, might be in jail, but at least you know he survived and made the money that to this day still puts food on your table. So if your own flesh and blood thrived at this, then you're seeing the positive results this game can bring. And if he's your father, you must be destined for that same greatness. When you go to school, the teachers don't seem like bad people, and they're fun to play around with. But everything they want to teach you isn't applicable for the world you know, and if it won't help you survive, then it's of no value to you. There's even outside pressure to start working the corners during school time. Not just from the other soldiers, but from your own mother. Everyone is telling you it's time for you to step up and be a man, and if you don't, then you're a higher risk of becoming a snitch, or at least showing some snitch potential, as realistically, what else are you gonna do? Everyone around you mocks the idea of becoming anything else. You're either tough enough to be in the game, or you're not. So you start working the corner, and just like anything, what you focus on grows in importance in your mind. This isn't just a job, it's a part of your identity, it's your career, your sole potential. So you put everything into it, just like any other aspiration you might have. And as you're learning about how real business works, it's simultaneously all working out for you, as long as you follow the rules.
No loose talk, no second thoughts, and no snitching.
But now that you're in the game, the police are showing more interest in you, but naturally you don't trust them because of how they treated you when you were younger. So just like the teachers at school were fun to mess with, you play around with the cops and waste their time the way teachers tries to waste yours.
Okay.
But then you find out one of your friends, the people you've grown up with your whole life, has been snitching to the police. Here you are working your ass off and learning from your mentors, and they're jeopardizing everything. Suddenly you have a complete understanding of why snitches need to be dealt with harshly, because you're now at risk of going to jail too. The boss swings by and hand selects you, questions if you have what it takes to become a real soldier. And now what choice do you have? Let down everyone around you and throw away everything you've been building for yourself, for someone who betrayed you, or finally step up and prove you're the exception to the rule. It's not easy, but this has been normalized to you since day one. This is how you succeed, and this is what happens if you snitch. You didn't snitch, he did, so you do it. Now you're promoted, and the bosses are even listening to your ideas sometimes. You're successfully protecting your corner with more responsibilities. Every now and then a new body turns up, but it's not you, so it's all worth it. But then something happens, and the boss is thrown in jail, along with some of his loyal servants, including you. Whatever it is you were building no longer matters. You're taken out of the game, stripped of everything you know, and given time out. Back on the streets, there's now a power vacuum, and no one ever stood out by playing the same game as everyone else. So the new king in town will have to distinguish himself by breaking the rules. The old guard will fall as the new guard rises up, wiping out those you were raised to believe could never be got. This makes him seem more dangerous because under the old rules you got respect, you thrived and survived, ignoring everyone else who didn't. Meanwhile, those in prison have time to reflect, having to deal with the reality that their life is over before it even started. They had choices, but they never felt like options. They were always being pushed by parents, or threatened by soldiers, or tempted by money. This lifestyle was handed down to them from generation to generation. and they wonder if maybe they could have played it differently, or not played at all. But prison isn't safe either. If you don't play by the rules, you might get taken out. Some die, some stay, some get released. And once you're back on the streets, after all those years away, to you, it now feels as if the game has changed. You worked so hard to earn your respect because that's what kept you safe. But all these new faces don't know who you are or what you sacrificed. There's a new king in town, and you're just a nobody. You may even convince yourself that there used to be honor in this game when it was working for you. But now seeing all those mentors that trained you in, getting knocked out one by one, just feels cold. You're so isolated that it doesn't feel like there's any way to get to the top, because you don't have a crew to climb up with. Now you start seeing how brutal and harsh the game is. You wonder if maybe the teachers were right to try to teach you something else, and the cops weren't all that wrong to try to break it apart.
This game is rigged, man. We like the little bitches on the chessboard. Pawns.
And if you're stuck at the bottom, why protect those at the top? It was too late for others, but maybe it's not too late for you. Except once you're even spotted talking to the cops, you're now the snitch. And the next group of upcoming soldiers trying to prove their loyalty will take you out, just like you took out your own friend. Or instead, maybe you decide to start over with nothing. Maybe you get a job in a shoe store or working as a gardener, and you figure you should try to provide a new avenue for the next generation to escape the same fate as you. And as it grows, you witness the cycle in action, as each boy gets siphoned down their respective roads. The ones that had to grow up fast and became tough enough to survive on their own get sucked up by the game, now rolling the dice to find out if they'll wind up in jail or dead. And the ones that aren't strong enough to play are at the mercy of whatever the rest of the world has to offer. Some might get lucky, be born with more money, and find the right mentor to help save them. And others are less lucky, born without anything, not strong enough to sell drugs, but weak enough to use them. And even if they do find a good mentor, they're not quite the right one to fully save them. Just like you didn't choose the circumstance you were born into, you don't get to choose who will take a shine to you. It's all just chance. Even life outside the game is pure luck. You're born into this world with no idea who you'll become, but as each choice gets made by you or for you, it begins to become clearer and clearer who you're being molded into. Another generation ready to play their part in this never-ending cycle. And even for the bosses up the top, although they share a mutual understanding of one another's mindsets, they can also end up with vastly different outcomes. They could be locked up with no chance of parole, or they could get a chance to trade their most loyal soldiers to a life behind bars so that they can be set free, and then sell their contacts to the next group of leaders who want to shoot their shot and experience their own American dream. But as always, in a power vacuum, the rules are still getting figured out, and even though you, like everyone else, think you're an exception to the rule because you made it this far, you should be careful not to overplay your hand.
It's our time, mine and yours. It's just the street and the game and what happened here today.
The dream is dead before it even begins. No sentimentality, no nostalgia, no legacy. You're just another body on the ground, waiting to get cleared away like trash. You clear the board, and the game begins all over again. New leaders, new soldiers, new rules, new corner boys, new teachers, new students. But the same outcomes every time. Rinse and repeat. You might get lucky, you might get caught, or you might get killed. But you don't get to choose which one you get. It's out of your control. All you can do is roll the dice and find out.
The game is a game. Always.
If you enjoy content like this and want to see more of it, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, as it really does make a difference to how much content I can pump out. Or if you can't afford that, then simply like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below to help the algorithm do its thing.
Check it out, I got a chick out of town always giving me stuff. She stayed mad as a fuck cause I don't visit enough, bruh. She called me the cuss spell. I don't know what it was, but something that I does got him falling in love. And now we on the phone beefing and she crying to me. Like you be fly, you be lying to me. True, she dying to see where I was, what happened. Study your social media, she trying to catch him. Bad bitch caught him off guard with the condom off. Let her hit, now my dick feel like it falling off sperm. When I shot him off, burning like a Molotov. Word of my mama, I'm disturbed by a lot of bra. That's where the mother son, I cut her off. Maybe she make me come a lot, but it come at a cost. I got a girl I love and I lost, won't never reconcile. She played me like a pump at a record, yo, check it out. Yeah.